Hello and welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today, I'm going to be doing my very best to go through 10-ish Kickstarters that are coming down the line that I have had the opportunity to play, demo, and that I am personally covering and excited about. And if you don't know how we go about choosing and deciding what we play here on the channel and what we show off to you, we have to be able to check out the rulebook, talk with the publisher, and get a chance to demo the game before we commit to any official coverage. So all of these titles have had an opportunity to sit down in front of us, and I am excited to bring them to you because I think some members of our audience will be very, very happy with them. That being said, this video is done in collaboration with Board Game Co. Alex over there had the brilliant idea of listing kind of a top 10 list because both of us have been demoing, playing a lot of things on TTS, and have had some prototypes arrive early. And so we thought we'd throw out a video to give you a heads up on what different names should be on your radar. Now, I'm not going to be going into depth here. I'm going to try to, like Alex does, sprint through things as quickly and efficiently as possible, just giving you a taste and making you aware of some of the games. Now, I have a bit of a list here for the ones that I've played on TTS that aren't sitting here in front of me, and then we'll get to Robot Quest, Ice, Oros, and Dice Theme Park in just a moment. Some of the games you should be paying attention to. First off, there's going to be a game called Dive. Dive is going to be a game where you're venturing your journey down into the depths of the ocean. It is a game built on transparent sheets, and you're doing your very best to look down like you're looking into a pool or a pond and trying to navigate how deep a shark is, or a turtle, or a manta ray. And you'll be placing private bets on a little board behind your player screen there, and then you'll reveal, and you'll start pulling these transparent sheets off, determining if you were right or wrong. It is a bit of a pressure luck game. It's a bit of a spatial and sort of artistic awareness game, and Jan and I had an absolute blast playing it. I'm really excited for you all to get a chance to check this one out. It's one that I thought was intriguing when I first saw it, and now I was very, very charmed by it. I'm ready for expansions, I'm ready for updates, I'm ready for more artwork and more complexity. It's a really, really solid title. Kiwi Chowdown. Kiwi Chowdown is going to be a little bit of a head-to-head bird-based, which we are, the most aviary-forward channel, coming from one of the most aviary-forward publishers. This is the same publisher that made The War for Chicken Island and Dodos Riding Dinos. Kiwi Chowdown is going to be all about adorable little fluffy birds positioning and tactically upgrading their defenses, doing their best to claim a little bit of territory control, and spreading across this very colorful, bright map. In it, you're going to be controlling a herd or a flock of kiwis, slowly feeding them berries to swell them up or explode your neighbors, and it has a really nice interplay for a area control game. It's a little bit on the lighter side. Tactically, it has a nice balance between pushing and pulling between the two players. You're able to move and manipulate and really shift the board state. It's not all about destruction. Oftentimes, it's more about how you're, resolving this kind of spatial puzzle. So that is one that is on our radar that you should be paying attention to. Eldfall Chronicles. Eldfall Chronicles is going to be a game that takes a little bit of a sidestep from the classic board game space into the tabletop wargaming space. This is going to be a magic style, hunters and archers and magicians, all squads in this arena where you're going to be using some rulers to kind of stretch them across this map. Now, the thing that caught my attention with this game is not only going to be the interesting movement patterns and the kind of characters and customization and abilities. If you're used to wargaming or maybe not used to wargaming at all, this is taking those classic elements from some of your kind of big tabletop miniatures games and putting it into an arena style kind of a combat game with squads and teams of characters that you can link together and fight on this battlefield there in the front. Now, the thing, again, that brought my attention to it, or that really hooked me, is the degree to which they have created custom and unique characters. Everyone that I saw, the stats, the lore, the iconography, the different abilities that they had, especially as you upgrade them to their more advanced side, they were so cool. There was so much room to play and make this game interesting and messy and tactically functional. And I just want the prototype here already so I can start really exploring it. Next, it's going to be a game called Distilled. Distilled should 100% be on your radar. This is a game that I kind of foo-fooed to start with. I didn't quite know if the theme and the mechanics would link up in an interesting way, and so And the cover art wasn't my favorite, to be fair. I think it's fair to say that because there's going to be some other people that kind of glance at it and think, oh, a game about whiskey making or liquor making, really not my style. But here's the cool thing. This game scales in such an interesting way. It's a Euro-style game with a bit of a marketplace where you're drafting cards, ingredients that go into your tableau that start building and refining the liquor or liquid that you're making. And the main objective of this game is to be the best distiller. It represents a variety of cultures and regions from all across the world with tons of little intricate flavor text and an accurate depiction or an accurate experience of what it's like to go through the distilling process. So it's great when it comes to flavor text. It's great when it comes to theme. But on the other side of that, it's just a really solid puzzle, especially once you get beyond the beginner level. Once you get into the advanced mode where you start unlocking, chaining, and building out your network, you can make decisions around what you want to complete first, or if you go for your kind of special name brand liquid. For me, of course, it's always going to be bourbon, but for you, it might be sake, or it could be wine, or it could be a whiskey, or a Jack, or a rum. There's so many different options here. This game is absolutely lovely, both thematically and mechanically separate, and for me, just becomes something really charming when you pull them all together. Next game is going to be a little social deduction game called Passengers. Passengers is a really interesting game because it takes the common tropes of social deduction and does something that I've been seeing a lot of games play with over the last year. It sets you on a series of boats, all of which are journeying into the underworld, and you're assigning passengers to ride on those boats. These passengers have different colors, and some of them are demons, and some of them are souls, and you want your team to win, depending on how many of which kind you have in your hands. So if you're a demon player, you might play down onto a boat. But here's the cool part, here's the interesting part. Together, as a group, you decide which one of the two boats are going to journey into the underworld, and you'll do that 3 times. So 6 boats total, only 3 will make it into the scoring round, and then this is where this steps away from a social deduction game entirely. Well, not entirely, but in part. This is where it starts to stand out. The scoring is built off of positioning and adjacency of the different souls and different colors that you've been able to pair up. So even if you lose a boat or send some demons over or a few souls get through, all hope is not lost. It comes down to how strategic you've been, what information you have, and what's been revealed to you and the other players around the table. It's a really, really compelling little social deduction game. I am excited again for you all to check it out. I should just keep saying that or just do a universal, I'm excited for these games. EOS Rise. EOS Rise is a cooperative style game where you're doing worker placement actions to level up your different crew members so that you can effectively gather and harvest resources from outer space in order to inhabit or find your way to the new planet before Earth is destroyed. You see, aliens are starting to descend upon the galaxy, and we know that Earth is in its final stages. The whole atmosphere and continent has been burned. It is a cinder, and there's very few remaining living people. And you're journeying through on the last ship that can potentially save humanity. You need to collect data entries, you need to collect research and points in order to find your way home. This is like what you'd do if you took Pandemic and you said, I want to make this, I want to escalate this, I want to make this better and bigger and more complex. Add in worker placement, add in sort of a production tree or an escalation or a scale for each of your different player boards. There's going to be 4 core crew members that you're playing as. Each person takes a role, each person has their own puzzle to solve, and as you assign them to work different sectors or zones of your ship, you'll unlock new resources, new regions, new worker placement actions, and slowly start building out your crew. I am very compelled by this game. I think this could be one of the next big sort of cooperative style puzzle games that comes onto the market, especially with its worker placement, especially with its Euro-esque nature. It's just very well done. Next, we're going to have Archon Wars. Archon Wars is going to be a tactical card game, kind of in the line of Magic the Gathering in some regards, but I know I write off games that are compared to Magic the Gathering as well, but Archon Wars stands out for a really important reason. It comes down to positioning and tactical orientation with your cards on the table. So you have this big table in front of you, and your cards are kind of working as miniatures, almost tabletop minions in a way, with custom unique skills and abilities, ranges, defenses, and you're playing them down into this grid, slowly expanding your, war tribe, and doing your very best to take down your opponent. It's all about card play. It's all about positioning. It has that richness that a lot of your card games have when it comes to fun moments, unique events, and big, incredible things happening. I really like the way that Arcane Wars has structured the player turns and the order of operations. I think it is really, really solid. And once again, it's one that I cannot wait to get a finished copy of. Next on my list here, before we swing into these, is going to be a game called A Nobel War. A Nobel War is going to be a game where you are sort of War of Whispers style or Dogs of War style. That's the essence that it gives me. You're going to be a high court, influencing the red and the blue armies across this big tactical map, slowly conquering churches and different castles and villages. You're doing your very best to position and work towards your own ends. And you don't really care who's winning the battle at the end of the day. Both of your teams have your representatives on them. Both of the regions have ways for you to win or earn points or reposition and negotiate your role in the kingdom. This game plays at two-player, a War of Whispers style negotiation and strategic deduction game, a positioning, a influence, a game of intrigue. For me, this one, as far as I'm concerned, does what War of Whispers was trying to do for me, and in my opinion, does it better. I'm really excited for you all to check this out. I feel like I've said that way too many times at this point. All right, and the games I have in front of me, let's start here with Robot Quest Arena. Have you ever wanted a deck builder game with all the powers, upgrades, escalation, and scale that you could imagine, with a arena map in front of you where you control adorable little robots who are slowly slamming into each other, upgrading their weapons, and wreaking havoc? Well, I don't think I need to say much more. Robot Quest Arena is going to be that game. This is a chaotic good time. It has the deck building skill that Wise Wizard Games is known for, and this just sets it in a theme that, for me, growing up with like a Robot Rally sort of TV show, for me just really works. Swinging over to Ice. Ice is an amazing game. It is absolutely immaculate. It is beautiful, and it is built off of this system of working down through these layers of subterranean ice. You're slowly mining and harvesting. There's ice falls and pits, and you're doing your very best to kind of chisel down to the bottom, establish your camps, and gain resources and rewards. This game is gorgeous and is going to be on a lot of people's radars. I highly recommend you kind of put it on your to-watch list. Oros over here. Oros may be one of the most anticipated games for us of this entire year. This is a game that is all about, how do I describe this game? You are gods that are manipulating your worshippers or your minions on a map, growing volcanoes, establishing islands, and slowly spreading your influence to build shrines across this little globe. You feel like you're playing a tiny kingdom builder where you're slowly twisting the landscape to your will. This game operates in such a cool way where you have a series of variable worker placement locations, and none of your workers are entirely exhausted, but instead you have to position where you're going to place them on the board, opening up new slots and deciding or choosing where to place other characters. You can flow lava across the ocean, you can crystallize it into magma, and then raise it up into mountains. Oros is going to be a game that, if you like spatial puzzles, if you like worker placement games, and if you want something that packs a giant punch in an accessible box, you're not going to go wrong. And then finally, we're going to have Dice Theme Park. Dice Theme Park is going to be a follow-up on Dice Hospital, and for me, this is the one that is sort of doing it the way I wanted it to be done. It feels like a waterfall of escalating principles. You are slowly building out your theme park, and each theme park or each attraction ride brings in certain dice or attracts certain types of people. And you're doing your very best to get them as far into the park as possible, and then start cycling those numbers down as you activate all the different rides, allowing them to expend their energy and their excitement to spend as much time and as much money and as much resources in this amusement park as possible. This is a very, very puzzly game. It's a very, very mathy game. If you like a game that challenges you to think and that gives you sort of it gives you a puzzle on the table where you're trying to calculate numbers and shift colors and icons and really figure out how to use your dice the best way possible, Dice Theme Park should be on your radar. And if you like Dice Hospital, well, then it's just good. It's just another good sequel in that type of game series. Whatever the case, I think this is a video. I think, hopefully, we've covered 10-ish. I'm pretty sure we're a little bit above. Make sure you swing over to Alex over at Board Game Co. Check out his video, see what matches up. I still don't know what's on his list or what he's been playing. I think a few of ours will have some crossover, but I'm really intrigued to hear what's on his radar and to figure out what's on mine, because anything he's paying attention to, I'm going to be honest, I should probably reach out to the publisher and see if I'm going to be able to cover it as well, and hopefully vice versa for him. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time. Thank you.